Greetings, diplomats from other nations. Welcome to Rylina's Royal Garden. I'm your host, Princess Rylina. And yeah, did you guys like that little intro? Isn't that so cute and fun? Ugh, I'm so creative. I'm just so creative like that, like my mind. Okay. I thought it would be appropriate to refer to you as a diplomat from your kingdom, and you're visiting my kingdom for the day, right? And we're sitting in my garden, and we're freshly gardened, if you know what I mean. Because when I am a little bit stoned, I really enjoy talking to myself. And I thought, oh, it could be cool if I turn that into content and continue my journey of making myself a brand, because I just think that would be fun. So anyways, yeah. So you are a foreign diplomat and you're visiting my kingdom and we're talking in my garden, and that's what this little show is going to be. It's episode 1. Things will get more cohesive as they go along, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but also at the same time I am gardened, as I said. So I can't guarantee that anything I say makes a whole lot of sense, but I'm assuming, like, if you indulge, I'm assuming that you have perhaps indulged before listening or are indulging whilst listening. So that sort of thing doesn't really matter, because I feel like I can just listen to people talk when I'm high, and it's fine. So anyways, I thought it would be fun if the first episode of this little podcast or whatever was me telling some crazy college experience stories. Before I get into that, I want to point out I'm recording this on my iPad and it's propped very precariously on one of my windows. So if the camera suddenly falls, I'm going to have to pick it back up and we're just going to deal with it. The framing might be different. It's fine. This is Mr. Whiskey. Everyone say hi. Say hi to Mr. Whiskey. All right. And yeah, are there any other like housekeeping things that I want to say, like, for the first episode before I actually get into talking? I can't see how long I've been talking for. I'm recording this on Logic. And it only gives you like the amount of like measures of music technically. I'm sure there's a way to like change the layout. I'm like 100% sure there's a way to like change the layout to like a podcast sort of vibe, but I don't feel like figuring out how to do that. So it's okay. And I like that I can see the waveform, so I know how loud I am. But I feel like most recording softwares do that anyway. And okay. Let's get into the college experience stories. So I graduated 2 months ago, right? If you're curious, if you don't know who I am, hi. My actual name is Riley. I graduated 2 months ago with a degree in screenwriting and a minor in creative writing. So I was in like the film department at my school. And so I think the first story I want to tell, some of these are going to be shorter than others, but I am going to give like context to establish like how each thing came to be. So freshman year, I lived in a dorm tower. It's exactly what it sounds like. It was just a tower. We had a few towers where each floor just had a bunch of dorms on it. And it was mostly double dorms, and there were a couple singles in the tower. I lived in a single dorm. I am really lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I lived in a single dorm my freshman year, my sophomore year, and then I moved into a house just off campus my junior year, and then I lived there also my senior year. So I had it really nice. I lived alone, never had a bad like roommate experience, you know. I feel like a lot of people have horror stories about that. So none of my stories are going to be like that. Um, Although I can tell this one quickly. My sophomore year in my single dorm, um, I had some sort of yellow jacket infestation, like bees, like yellow jacket bees. They were like, I would go to sleep and have my like blinds shut, and then I would wake up and hear like, bzz, 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 and I'd be like, oh, I'd get up, fucking open the blind, and there'd be a yellow jacket on the windowsill. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell, but I'm very impassioned about this. Why? Imagine if I was allergic. Imagine if I was allergic to yellow jacket stings. And I never got stung, thankfully. By the way, if you hear like a bunch of noise coming from all around, like in the background, I have my windows open because it's effing beautiful out today and it's the middle of July and I'm going to have my windows open. But yeah, I live like pretty close to the street. So you're going to hear cars. But I feel like it adds to the ambiance. Like I feel like this isn't like a professional setup. Like I literally, like I'm filming on my iPad with just like the microphone that I have and like my laptop. But yeah, the yellow jackets in my dorm sophomore year, and I felt bad, but I would like have to squish them because I wasn't gonna like spend 30 minutes because it's like scary to like be in like it's scary to have something that can sting you in your room. It just is. Like that was not fun. But they went away as it got colder, and then they didn't come back in the spring semester, which I was very grateful for. But yeah, that happened like right when I moved in sophomore year. But anyways, so back to freshman year when I was living in a different tower. I lived on the same floor as these two guys, and I'm gonna like have everyone's names be different. I'm still friends with like everyone that I'm gonna talk about basically, but I didn't like reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm gonna tell this story and like post it to the internet. So I'm just gonna change everyone's names for privacy reasons. If you know me and you're listening to this, it's going to be easy as hell to figure out who it is. But if you don't know me, you're not going to know. So it's fine. But basically, what should we call them? We'll call them, I don't know. I'm going to change people's names, and then I'm like horrible at thinking up names on the spot. We'll call them I was about to say a name. I was about to say two names that are extremely similar to their actual names. I think that would be so funny if I just like gave them slightly different names. No, I'm not going to do that. They need to be like very different. We'll call them Matt and Carl. Matt and Carl. So I'm like, oh, okay, because out of everyone else who lives on the floor, obviously, like you live there, so you're gonna see the people who live on your floor, like waiting for the elevator in the lobby. Like you're gonna recognize these faces, and I started to recognize Matt and Carl's faces, and be like, oh, like they seem chill. I remember like they sort of gave me the vibe of like a gay couple, since I wasn't out as trans at the time, so I like was just like, I'm a gay guy. I'm a gay guy. Masquerading as a gay guy. Maybe I'll call this episode masquerading as a gay guy, or maybe I'll save that for the trans episode. I think the next episode is going to be the trans episode. But anyway, being that I was like tuned into the culture, right, I was like clocking a little bit of something. Turns out I was wrong. They never dated. They never liked each other. I don't know. Oh, I just peaked the mic so bad. I just peaked the mic so bad. Yeah, I just got the vibe that I wanted to be friends with them. Because I was like, oh, I see some LGBTs over there. Let me in. And I ended up having a class with Matt. And I was like, hey, we sort of sat next to each other. And it was sort of the vibe. It was like, oh, I know you kind of like, I've seen you around. Because obviously, like, they're noticing that I live on the floor too. And we had to do like a beginning of the semester like floor meeting where we all like stood around and introduced ourselves and we're like, this is my major, like blah blah blah. So we like knew of each other, so we were like smiling at each other like, hey. And I thought that Matt was like pretty cute. Okay, so I was like, if you're not with Carl, I'm sliding in there. And this class was a class about the Greek god Dionysus, okay? The god of like wine. I think he's like the god of like pleasure too, something like that. But one of the classes, the professor started to tease like the next class, like what we were going to be talking about the next time we met. And he was like, it's going to get really gay really soon. And I saw like out of the corner of my eye, Matt was kind of like, yes. Like he sort of was like, yes. Like as like in like a jokey way, but like obviously like supportive, you know what I mean? So I was like, clocked that. And I forget how, oh, this is actually crazy. I forget how I got Matt's Instagram, but I think this is how. I think they had it written like on the whiteboard. Like I think it was both of their Instagrams. Like they had it written on a whiteboard outside of their door, and I went and I looked. And I looked at it and I got their Instagrams cuz I'm creepy like that. But I was like, you're trying to make friends, okay? So um I follow Matt and I follow Carl on Instagram too. And I clock that Carl is like into theater. Like from his posts, I saw that he was like into musical theater. And I was like, oh my God, I'm into musical theater. I was at the time. I'm not into musical theater anymore. People always like, my family members always like reference theater around me. And I'm like, oh, you don't know who I am anymore. Anyways, um, so I'm like, oh my God, like I really want to be friends with the both of them. So I just reached out and I DM Matt and I'm like, do you want to come over to my room? Bold as hell, girl. Like, wow. I don't know if I would do that today. I probably would. So he comes over, we watch a movie or whatever, and I end up like looking over his shoulder and he's texting a girl with a red heart at the end of her contact name. So I'm like, oh, okay. Bisexual king. Okay, bisexual king. So he has a girlfriend, so I'm like, okay, crush is evaporated. Crush is fucking eviscerated. I stomped out those feelings fast as fuck. Out of respect, of course. But we were having fun. The second time we hung out, because I was like, all right, like we can talk and like we also like we have something in common, like we have this class together, so like let's like be friends. And the second time he came over, he brought uh like a bottle of Fireball. This is how you know we were freshmen in college. He had like a bottle of Fireball that was like medium size. Like it wasn't a huge handle or whatever, but it wasn't like a little nip. It was a decent sized bottle, and we drank the whole thing in like once over the course of one movie. And mind you, it was so weird. I remember like not feeling drunk. I remember like not really feeling like super drunk. Maybe I did. No, because then I think we like went to get like food after or something, and it was like I was like mumbling and stumbling. But anyways, that is sort of how I got into my friend group that I ended up having for the rest of college. We're all like still friends. Um I would say, at least. Guys. But yeah, so I long story short, I had a crush on this guy. He has a girlfriend, so I'm like, okay, no more crush, but I will join your friend group though, because he was obviously friends with Carl, who was his roommate. So it's Matt, Carl, and then another. There was this other guy. We'll call him John. Matt, Carl, and John. So I like became friends with the three of them, and there were like other characters who would float in and out, but it was like mainly like the three of them that would hang out, and then I started like tagging along, and then the four of us would hang out. Um, and then like a couple other people joined this friend group as it went along. Like we sort of snowballed and added more people. Um, so the first like crazy story that I want to tell, and this is I'm kind of like easing into it a little bit cuz this one isn't like super crazy, but so this friend group, we would go to parties as you do in college, right? So we would go to parties, and um the cops would always show up. The cops always showed up at these parties somehow. Like like the neighbors were always calling the cops. I don't know, like they were always just pulling up. And it was always some bullshit where everyone has to either stay still, run away, fucking be quiet as hell. And it's just so I am so happy that I never like have to go to a college party ever again, because something about that, it doesn't that's a case that never sat right with me. So we and it's usually because this story that I'm going to tell is the exception to my experience with cops showing up at college parties. I did not go to a school that has heavy Greek life, like a heavy emphasis on Greek life. So there weren't like huge frat houses or huge sorority houses that like parties would get held at. Um, there were like frat houses, but they were just houses. Like it was always, they were always just house parties, Um, and they weren't like massive mansions or anything like that. Like it was just like someone's family home that had been turned into a college house and like destroyed over the years of frat guys living there. Um, but and I say that because that is like kind of like the house that I moved into my junior year. Like that was the vibe. Like it was clearly someone built it as a family home, and then like frat guys moved in eventually because the college is right there, and it just like started like deteriorating from there. So we oh my god, let me focus. Usually when the cops show up at like frat parties or mixers or wherever you're going, house parties, opens, whoever like owned the house or was renting the house, one of them would come out and be like, guys, guys, and start fucking yelling, hey. And people are drunk, so people are screaming. The amount of girls who just scream for no reason, and guys too, but when a girl like screams, like, and she got that high pitched fucking horror movie scream, like doing like Jenna Ortega and X, like like just screeching, just hooting and hollering, just loud and wrong all the time at parties. um it was usually the like one of the frat guys coming out and be like, guys, the cops are here, like everyone has to be quiet, like everyone has to be silent. People are doing quiet coyote, like everyone's like okay, and then most people are quiet, but there are always like some people who are too drunk and are like, and people are like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. That is usually the experience. You'll also get, and another common one is, you'll also get everyone stands still or something like that. Like, one time I was at a party, and the paramedics, I think, had to show up. Like, there was a medical emergency downstairs, which it like is a big deal, obviously, because when the cops pull up to parties, it's just because of a noise complaint. And they, sorry, my bathroom door just closed on its own because the windows are open. Usually when the noise complaints happen, the cops just like show up and then shine their flashlights around outside and then leave, right? But when it's like a medical emergency, they have to like go in the house and like help the person who's experiencing the emergency. So one time they had to like come through, and everyone had to like stand still, and everyone was just like, it was so weird. Like, that was such a weird experience. But this experience was even weirder. So my friends and I, you know, Matt, Carl, John, we go to this party, and two of our other friends were there too. We'll call them Max and Sally. We're at this party and we're downstairs, and I remember I was talking to John about like music. We were talking, I remember specifically we were talking about the song that was playing, which was Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna. That's what it's called, right? It's called Don't Stop the Music, yeah. 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 Please don't stop the music. That song. Okay, vocals. I need to stop like yelling. But we were talking about that song, and we were specifically talking about, because we both produce music, so we were talking about, I think, like the kick drum that they had used for some fucking reason, like some nerd shit. And I look slightly to my left, and this like bright light shines in my face, so I'm like, okay, ugh. And I assume that someone is just like fucking around with like the flashlight on their phone, right? Because I'm like, whatever. Because up until this point, everyone was acting normal being like just dancing and having a good time, like, or talking downstairs at this function. The light shines again, and I'm like, who the fuck is shining their light? So I turn to look. There's a police officer downstairs. Oh. It was like, the only way I can describe it is like you're in a canoe and you're vibing, you're like enjoying the sun, like there's a cool breeze, and then you look and there's a fucking alligator in the water next to you. Like, that is literally like the adrenaline that surged through my body, because I wasn't necessarily scared of like getting arrested. Like, out of everyone, like, they're not just gonna choose me and arrest me for being underage and drinking at this college like frat party. But it was so jarring because every time cops show up, like, there's a fuss that's made, like people are aware. But it was almost like a college student had dressed up like a cop and was shining a flashlight around. Like, the only reason I knew that she was an actual cop was because she was like clearly older. She like had her hair in a bun and like had like the actual like uniform and like shit on. But it was literally like no one was reacting. So I grabbed my friends and I'm like, we gotta get the fuck out of here, look. And they're all like, what the fuck? Like, and then I feel like as I and my friends started to realize, like, everyone else around us started to realize too, and a bunch of people started surging toward the door to leave. Because we were like, oh my god, like, there's a cop down here, like, how did she get down there? And of course, like, as we leave and we go up the stairs, like, from the basement, there's like other cops like walking around, and it's like pretty empty outside, so like everyone's just running. My favorite thing about when the cops show up to parties is the outpouring of college students just like running into the streets, like going both directions. It's so funny. It's like when you like, it's like that video of ooh Oh, it's like that video of like when the spider gets squished and all the mini spiders that were in its pregnant belly start to like run. Oh, that shit is so gross. So yeah, that was the crazy basement story that I wanted to tell. Let's talk let's switch massively let's switch gears massively here because I need to talk about the time that I broke and entered into an abandoned asylum. Yeah. So I need to introduce a new set of characters, right? I need to introduce a new set of characters, a different like friend group that I was sort of involved in. Um there are some phrases that really ring true in this world, and one of the phrases that rings the most true, at least to me, in my experience, is having a crush will lead you to places you wouldn't go with a gun. It's so true. And if you know, you know. So there's this guy, we'll call him Mark. We'll call him Mark. So Mark, I had a big fat crush on Mark. Okay? I was like, wow, need you. And we were kind of in like a situationship. I hate to say it. That's a whole fucking different tale that I can spin. But basically, one day Mark texts me. He's like, I'm about to go to an abandoned asylum and just go in there. And I was like, wow, like you're so crazy. And me and Mark are still friends, by the way. Like, I don't know. He might listen to this. I'm not gonna send it to him. I don't think he'll listen to it. But if he does, hey. So I was like, wow, you're so cool. Can I come with you? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he pulls up. It's him, his best friend. What will we call his best friend? Sean. Mark, Sean, and then this other guy. Ooh, this other guy that I hated because very recently before this happened, I found out that this third guy, we'll call him James. James did something really, really fucked up, and I really did not fuck with him. So lo and behold, because I didn't know that James was coming, I assumed that Sean would be there. Or Mark might have told me that Sean would be there, and I was like, oh my god, can I come with you guys? So I open the car door. James is there. I'm like, fuck. But anyway, we got to the abandoned asylum. Mind you, it's 9 or 10 p.m., I think, around then. No, it had to have been, no, it had to have been later. It had to have been later because I remember it turned to midnight when we were inside the asylum. So it was like 11 p.m. Jesus Christ, I'm getting like chills. Not like chills, but I'm getting like my toes are curling thinking about this. Like, why did I do this? Girls, whatever. I will extrapolate on, that's not the right word. But I will give this lesson at the end, right? I will give the lesson that I need to give at the end. So we drive to this asylum. It's the middle of the night, and we go. Mark fishes a crowbar and an axe out of his trunk. We go up. This, I don't know if this could get me in trouble. I don't think so. It's like, it's in the past and we didn't, like, whatever. He goes up. They like kind of know their way around. Was it my first time to this asylum? Because I went to this asylum multiple times because it was also like a park. Like it had been, Jesus, just loud as hell outside. It had been like turned into a park. And like it was a huge sprawling like asylum campus. So I don't know. We ended up at like one of the little areas and there was like a smaller building. Some of the buildings were like huge, like super super tall, but we ended up at like a smaller one. And Mark gets the crowbar. He starts fucking pulling at the wooden door. It cracks open, and then we go inside. Ooh, so the whole place inside is covered in like graffiti. There's like dust and debris. 100% asbestos in there. 100%. Like in 50 years, I'm gonna like one of my lungs is just gonna explode because I went in this fucking place. Like seriously, so nasty. We definitely should have brought masks, but we're already breaking and entering into an abandoned asylum, so who the fuck cares about safety anymore at this point? Like literally the floor could have just like caved in and we would have died, but it didn't. So we start going through this building. It was honestly like kind of cool in there, like to see this like abandoned, like it's definitely like the most adventurous thing I've ever done, because if you know anything about me, I have severe 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 anxiety, and like that shit, like this is why I say like having a crush will lead you to places like you wouldn't go with a gun. Like I don't know if it's just me. I feel like this is kind of just like a girl thing. But when I have a crush on someone, and it's like when I'm like deep into a crush, um my brain just kind of like shuts off when I'm around them, and I'm just kind of like la 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 la. Like it's very like la 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 la. So that's how I was like this whole time. Like the whole time breaking and entering into this fucking asylum, like my brain was like woohoo, like ooh, spending time with this boy that I like. So we get to the asylum. We're in there for a little while. The boys go downstairs. I'm like, oh fuck no. So I kind of stay at the top. I think me and Sean might have stayed at the top or something. I don't really know. After a bit, we're like laughing, ha ha ha. And then James is like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, ha ha ha. Hear what? Because I thought that like he was like trying to fuck with us. And he was like, no, like listen. So we all go quiet. We hear voices in the walls. Okay. Now I'm locked in. Now my brain gets out of doodly doo mode and turns into what the fuck did I get myself into? I literally was like, okay, I'm scared. So Mark is like, shh, everyone, shh. And we start to like creep through this fucking asylum. And we're still hearing the voices outside. Like, we don't know if it's outside, inside. Like, it was scary boots. It was scary boots. We get back to the door that we entered in through, and James, like, peeks out. And he's like, okay, some guys are out there. Oh, some guys are out there. And they, like, have, like, they were, like, talking, but their car was parked, like, right next to where we had entered in. So it was like either they were gonna like come in or try to come in, or they were just like chilling there for some reason. I think they were just like talking about their car or whatever. But basically we like Mission Impossible, like hitman, like against the wall, scooted out of the asylum, and then ran through the darkness back to Mark's car. Oh my god. So many things. Here's the lesson that I need to impart, right? Because so many things could have gone horribly, horribly wrong. I'm like genuinely thinking back on that, like they could have killed me. Mind you, I knew Mark for like a month at this point. And he fully could have like went to James and Sean and been like, let's thrill kill this girl in the asylum and leave her there. Like, they fully could have. They didn't. But also, like, it was like so scary. Like, that could have gone so wrong. He's opening his trunk, pulling out an axe and a crowbar. I'm like, why do you have this? Why do you have this? So they could have killed me. One, those guys, first of all, what are the chances of other people fucking being there? Like, that's crazy. Other people are just like sitting outside at midnight in the, like, at this asylum talking, right? Like, it just my luck. And third of all, like I said, like, something could have gone wrong in the building itself and, like, hurt us or hurt one of us. And then how are we supposed to explain, like, how are we supposed to explain that fucking Mark's leg got cut off because a huge piece of wood fell down from the loose ceiling and cut it off? Like, what? That didn't happen, by the way. But it could have. Or my leg could have gotten cut off. Like, you never know. Anyways, I'll stop being motherly. What? I'm losing my train of thought, so I think I'm gonna tell one more story and then wrap it up. I feel like I've been talking for so long, but I actually don't know how long it's been. So, like I said, I'm high, so I don't know if any of this has made any sense. I hope it's been, if you've stayed until this point, bravo. I love you. I want you. Just kidding. But I really appreciate it. And let me think of what to end it on, because I want to end it on kind of a good note. I feel like that asylum story is like the craziest thing I've done. I can't really think of any other like stories that would like have like a lot of substance, probably because I'm high. So I know that I'm gonna like stop recording this and remember a huge incident. I just remembered. Thank God. Okay. So there was this character that my friend group knew. And, you know, when you have a friend group, you know that there are people who your friend group as a whole don't really fuck with. Okay? So that was this guy. We called him perverse. We referred to him as a perverse man because he was a little bit perverse. And yeah, we didn't like him. So this guy, he's white. That's important. Okay? That's important. He was in the same department as I was. Not the screenwriting department, but the film department as a whole. So the film department had this, well, it was like film and TV was combined. RTVF, radio, television, and film. So we would have this like big sort of, one of the classes produced an awards show that would contain like a bunch of different stuff that students worked on over the years. And it was the school year. And it was like at the end of May. So it sort of was like a celebration for everyone involved in like this, in like the department. So we have this like a little award show, and then we go to an after party. And this guy is there. The perverse guy is there. And we're all like, oh, okay. So I'm in the basement. I'm talking to my friend. And I'm doing the thing where I'm like looking around, like trying to see if there's anything interesting like happening, because usually at parties, like if you scan the room, you can always sort of find something going on that's like funny to look at, and then like it's something to talk about. So I'm looking around the room, my eyes land on the perverse man. He is in the middle of a circle of people, and sort of in the middle with him is a black guy. I like didn't really know who he was, but I had seen his face before. Like I don't think we had ever talked, or maybe we talked like once, but yeah, there was a black guy talking to him, and like I said, perverse guy is white. So they are going down and up, and they're counting down. They're saying 3, 2, 1. And perverse guy just yells the N-word. He just yells it. And then they all, like, everyone, like, cheered. So it was, like, very... Oh. As I'm, like, remembering these stories, I'm getting either flashbacks of, like, embarrassment for me or, like, secondhand embarrassment. Like, that is crazy, perverse guy. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Because obviously the context that had not been established to me, but I was able to gather with context clues. Thank you, critical thinking skills. The black guy had obviously like either dared him or like quote unquote given him the pass or whatever, and he did it. Like he said it. I don't know if you guys know, but the number one rule when it comes to slurs is if you're not supposed to be saying it, please don't say it. I feel like it's obvious, even if people tell you to. So yeah, that happened, and then I turned to my friend and I said, we need to go upstairs right now, because like I said, my friend group already didn't really like this guy. So I was like, this is gold. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be crazy to tell the group chat. Like, this is going to be crazy. So I grab my friend. I whisk her upstairs. We go to, like, our group of friends, and we're like, guys, you will never guess what the perverse man just did. Oh, God. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's enough talking. My throat is sore. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my hi. And if you indulged alongside me, I hope you enjoy. Thank you for making it this far if you did. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you have a great one. I don't know if this will be a super regular thing. Like, I can't guarantee that it'll be a weekly thing, but I'll try. I will try. I'll try to make it a weekly thing. Okay? But I can't make any promises. Alright? Okay.